South African embassy.
This is the South African embassy. Which, yeah, it was that's the new flag that's been around for 20 years, and it's not extended right now. Right behind you used to be the embassy of Iran. And as you can see, we don't have an embassy in Iran anymore.
And it's a shame because the arabesque tile is just exquisite. And if you take a peek inside,
it's too bad they're not up. I'd go say hello. We could talk policies.
Man, I knew you were gonna. Honestly, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you was gonna say that.
Yeah.
And that's the deal. What is the policy that you would want to discuss with Iran? The fact that they hate Jews just as much as you do?
Discuss with the president.
See, that's the thing. The David Duke thing is it's funny how he just seemed to just basically abandon.
You know, I know David personally. David's a nice guy.
David's an idiot.
Oh, come on, man.
David's an idiot.
How do you mean idiot? If he doesn't agree with you, that's your definition of an idiot?
Well, considering what we disagree about, yeah, he's an idiot.
His education level is pretty decent, pretty well.
So is mine, but that doesn't mean
that's
that.
The point. What is idiot to you? Somebody who doesn't agree with your point of view.
Yeah, that point of view being that everything is based on race, and the fact that you feel that your race has to advance at the expense of others, that makes you an idiot.
I've never.
I'm referring to David Duke.
Well, I don't even think he agrees with that. I don't believe that at all. I believe in the separation.
Would you have a problem with black people living in your neighborhood that are doing for themselves?
They already did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Are you having any problems because of that?
Yeah, we've had one problem. They had a cookout, and about 250 came in for the cookout. All over people's yards, loudness, rudeness, threats of violence for people asking them to quiet down until the police came and shut it down.
One incident though. Okay, so you had a
you can get that with a frat party.
I can get that at Nordic Fest. I can get that at Nordic Fest. So
yeah, exactly. You can get that.
Well, you asked me the question, I gave you the answer. The question.
Yeah, but I mean,
the one you didn't like.
But that doesn't mean.
But overall, how long have they been there?
Listen, that is not a broad statement. But you asked me were there any problems with the blacks that moved in. I just gave you the problem.
You gave me one. You gave me one.
All right, and until that, it's a quiet neighborhood.
But is it still a quiet neighborhood even after that? Has it been fine?
After the police visits, yeah, but he says he's moving because he didn't want to live in a racist neighborhood. Because he says it's racist that people ask him at 1 o'clock in the morning to
considering who's living there.
That's the typical kind of racist. Well, hey, I never said a word to the fellow one way or the other.
Hey, but you could have typed something on Stormfront. Hey, we don't know. Hey, we don't know how you play. We don't.
Yeah, you do know how I play.
Technically speaking.
48 years, never been arrested in my life.
So that doesn't mean anything. I'm 41.
Physically attacked anyone
and I never been arrested.
Me first.
That's the same way I roll.
Well, there you go.
The same way I roll. But think about it like this: doesn't matter if you've been arrested, if your politics are still.
Depends on what
how should I say?
For. I mean, last time I was at the German embassy, the cop came up to me and said, "Do you want to be arrested?" I was like, "For what?" And he said, "Do you want to be arrested?" And I said, I don't get your question. I said, why?
I do, unfortunately.
And he's like, well, these guys come here all the time and want to get arrested so they could have it on their arrest record that they did. I'm like, oh, I'm not a nut. I said, I don't want to be arrested.
That's a typical activist street
and I'm like, look, I don't.
You're not all about that.
I don't know what that's
about. No, you're not all about
So he goes, oh, no, I was going to arrest you.
Neither are my people.
Okay, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so you're not about all that. You got your
views. I think you can do that. I just don't think that type of guerrilla theater does you any good.
And it's not your thing.
No, it was like in this embassy when it was ruled by white people. This was a parade of left-wingers coming down, getting arrested. Jesse Jackson, Lowell Weicker, the senator from Connecticut.
Yeah, people
it was just like a circus.
Well, let's be fair. There are right-wingers have their
I want to be arrested
too.
at the South African embassy. So you know how the left wing works. They kind of do those things.
I know how activists work, and the truth of the matter is,
activists of a political, a particular political.
Nope. Ask the folks that was mobilizing against Terry Schiavo being executed. For lack of a better term.
And the anti-abortion activists are always getting arrested.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they finally started to adopt it, but it doesn't work any well for them either.
They've been doing that since the 80s.
Look,
they've been doing that a long time.
This foreign policy, in this country, foreign policy, you know who it's controlled by, whether you admit it or not. So it doesn't matter if we have Obama or George Bush, we're still at war in the Middle East. You and I both know that.
Yeah, we both know that.
You know what's funny the other day is there's a guy on in DC 101. You live here or you from DC?
I live here.
All right, anyway, you know Elliot in the morning?
Yeah,
and he's like, you know, there was some nuclear thing, and he goes, all the demonstrations suck. He goes, there's no violence, no nothing. And he's like, why is that? And somebody finally pegged it. It's because the people demonstrating don't want to show Obama in a bad light because they're very sympathetic toward him.
Well, what about the tea baggers? They don't want to do that.
One Tea Party event when it first started, and I was like, how many white people can stand behind one black person to prove they're not racist?
Well, that's what I saw too. The fact of the matter is the Tea Parties are racist and they know they're racist and they trying to play it.
So.
You said yourself that they was using code language. They was trying to keep from saying certain things.
No. They know that they're going to be accused of it, so they invite one black speaker, some black commentator from Fox News. He was there in Richmond the other night, and that's just their mentality. They're using it as a shield. But let's face it, it is a white cause, but it's not a white cause at the same time. If you ask them, are you proud? You ask me, I'm proud to be white and I want to work for white interests. I'll tell you the truth. They wouldn't. But you're saying it's because they're lying, and I'm saying it's subconsciously you may be right, but consciously, no, these people are not. They're just middle Americans who most of them never even been involved beyond voting.
Well, yeah, you may have that, but then think about it like this. Let me take it off the race issue for them, because you're right. Not everybody there is there on the racial line.
I've been that
We're all working people when we have work.
Well, okay, well, some do better than others with work.
This is true. This is true. But when you think about it,
but I mean, you talk about capitalism and stuff.
I don't have an issue with capitalism.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You talk about economics, you talk about capitalism, what racism being a byproduct of it. Let me tell you something. Capitalism, it boils down to this as far as me personally. I work every day, so I'm fine with a fair wage, but I want what I earn. Okay, and I don't need to give it to the government so they can disperse it to where
there are people who are not white that feel the same way, which is why I'm trying to tell you that it is not a racial matter.
No, but the disparity of those who receive the government aid versus those who pay the government aid.
Well, that's because of what has happened over 400 years, but that doesn't mean we're not trying to correct that.
Communities were better off in the 60s in Richmond and other places than they are now.
And now you're starting to find some of the white communities becoming a little darker.
You can drink from the same water fountain, go to the same bathroom,
or live in the same neighborhood.
You got no job and you've got no business.
Oh, wrong answer. We have jobs now. We have better jobs now.
We
are giving people jobs.
White people are.
We're
starting to become the same.
We always have been. That has always been the point.
Well, have we been or have we not been? You just said we weren't always.
We were always the same. When you talk about class, when you talk about the classes and all that, that has always been the issue.
Before we came in contact with each other, we weren't the same. You know, that Europe was not Africa. Different achievement levels.
No, that's not true. You want to talk about cultural issues? That's another thing in and of itself. But everybody has always.
But the people.
Yeah, and the people are definitely more diverse than they were back in the day, and nothing seems to be falling apart.
I would say that you're beginning to see the cracks in society already.
No,
that's where you and I would differ.
As I was telling Mojo earlier, the only thing you're seeing is a lot of people trying to evolve. It doesn't mean they're going to regress back to segregation or anything like that. It does mean, however,
they're still doing everything they can to be segregated. Look at people.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
You hear more white people listen to hip hop than. Erykah Badu had a video where she went through the history of hip hop.
The media pushing this.
Maybe the media is going by what the people want.
Well, if they want hip hop, they don't want them in their schools. So
I
guess it's like the
wrong
60s.
Answer, because you got a lot of white hip hop teachers these days.
I guess they listen to Fats Domino, but they don't want to go to school.
Isn't it interesting how like 10 years ago the best rapper was white and the best golfer was black?
The best what?
The best rapper was white and the best golfer was black. That should be a sign.
I don't listen to rap music, so I can't comment on it.
Do you play golf?
Who was the white rapper?
Eminem.
Oh, okay. That's the one I know.
Well, of course.
Who's the other one? The Ice Cube fellow.
Oh God, Vanilla Ice. He don't count.
Well, see,
that's what brought us all together. Everybody hated Vanilla Ice.